And I'm really excited about today's guest. He's a 22-year-old, seven-figure wholesaler out of Port St. Lucie. He specializes in virtual wholesaling and teaching others to be successful on his YouTube channel. And it's called Flip with Rick. Welcome, Zach, again to the show.
What is up? How are you today, Mike?
I love the energy, man.
Bro, I am jacked up, man. How can you not have energy when you wake up this morning and your life is amazing? You have air in your lungs, you're ready to go. Every moment's a gift, and there's not a reason not to be exciting, you know? We have the value of learning real estate on your channel, on my channel. The tools are out there to succeed. I don't know why anyone's not jacked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And the funny thing is when you talk to people, and we're going to dive into a lot of different things here, but when you talk to people, I'm fascinated by it. Oh yeah, it's not so good. You want to hear about it? It's like, well, change it. What are you doing to change it? Right?
That's exactly right.
Good stuff. So let's dive in. I know everybody's just dying to hear 22-year-old wholesaler. Like, there's just so many things different ways we could go with this. But first, tell us a little bit about you and your personal life.
Yeah, so my name is Zach In. I'm a real estate wholesaler out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. And honestly, I love wholesaling real estate. That is all I do. And that is basically my biggest passion. I'm into all types of wholesaling. I do creative financing. I do fix and flips. Everything you could possibly think of in wholesaling real estate, I have actually done. So I've been wholesaling for about roughly 5 years now. And basically, I started out with no money and basically built it up to a seven-figure wholesaling operation here in Florida. And every single day, my passion in life is to increase my net worth and help others increase their net worth. And that's what I do on a daily basis, and I do it all for free.
Dude, we're vibing, man. We're vibing. That's my jam. Yeah, do it for free. We do it in different ways, which is interesting. That's why I want to extract. I see the way your father. I've watched a couple of your videos, and I'm just like, and I saw you on Instagram. That's how I caught up with you. I was like, wow, this guy's doing some cool stuff, and your energy and stuff is so cool. And so, the thing is, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so some 22-year-old or 20-year-old out there right now is watching this and be like, what? Seven figure? Like, this guy's kid. You got to be kidding me. So we're going to dive into a couple deals. All right. And so you got flexibility to go with it. You can even tell a few stories on each of these, but let's dive in and start off here with your worst deal that if you could take it back, and we don't go negative the whole show, but we always start there. What is your worst deal? If you could take it back, you probably would.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. I did a deal where I think I personally put in 15 hours on the wholesaling deal, and I ended up getting a check for $1,000. I made $1,000. It's great, but it was such a mess of a deal, and I'd honestly regret it. But you know what? Made $1,000. Whatever. I'm not really gonna complain on that. I mean, I'll just put that in the fund to pay my taxes. But that was probably one of the worst deals I've ever done, and that's the benefit of wholesaling. Is the worst part of wholesaling is you don't get a deal or you make $0. The worst part of fix and flip is you lose 60, 70, 80K. So the downside's not there, and the upside's almost infinite in wholesaling because you got no marketing spend at all you can honestly do. So that was an SMS text blasting lead. Texted the person, hey, you want to sell their property, and our team went out there, and it was just a mess. Title issues, the property was disgusting, code violations. Ended up doing the right thing. Was to make about 10K on the deal. Had to give about 9,000 up on the deal just so the seller could get just equity something, at least $500 out of it. So ended up doing the right thing there, and from there it was fine. $1,000, not going to complain. But yeah, that was probably for this year, that one. And then I've had some other crazy ones. We've actually bought a house where it smelled like sulfur. It was disgusting. And in Port St. Lucie, all the hurricanes came through 2005. Bunch of drywall companies came in, Chinese drywall everywhere, and we thought it was Chinese drywall, but the sulfur is just from the person smoking so much, and almost lost a bunch of money, ended up making about 50, 60 on it. But the benefit of it is we get our deals so cheap that even if the house had Chinese drywall, I'm still making $10,000, $12,000. So my worst deals are ones that just take the most valuable resource out of me, which is my time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and a lot of people, they have their different reasons for investing in a deal. So it's interesting to hear you say that. Like, if the deal makes sense financially and you're getting it so cheap, then it's a no-brainer. And so let's dive in. So we're gonna get to the tools and tactics that you use here at the end, and the mighty flex round is what I call it.
Yeah,
um,
love it.
but let's dive in and listen. You can get sentimental if you want to. I know some people do, but let's dive in to the greatest deal, maybe even the most financially beneficial deal that you've done thus far.
Yeah. So this happened early this year or late last year. I don't know exactly when the closing happened, but we bought the property in 2020, like December, and we got the check 2021. And this is why I have a I actually have two YouTube channels, but this is why I have YouTube channels, because it documents my journey. I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years, no, 2.5 years, been wholesaling 5. And you can see my journey kind of throughout, doing $30,000 deals. You kind of put this in the beginning, like, how's a 22-year-old doing this? Is, hey, don't believe me. I don't think anyone should believe anyone in real estate. Here's the coolest part. You see a guy talking, he's making all this money in crypto or stocks. You could fake it. When it comes to real estate, I'm like, here's my HUD. Here's the deed. Look it up on the property appraiser. This is the county I bought it in. Look it up. I have nothing to hide. So this is one deal I did where we bought the property for, I believe, $90,000. We put $10,000 into it. I shared the entire thing. We literally put carpet in it and we painted it. And I had to clean up the pool because it was like green and disgusting. But basically bought the property for 90, sold it on the market for 220, netted profit after everything about $100,000. My first 6-figure flip. Did it within 2 months. And it was going to be a $70,000 wholesaling deal, but I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's just put the money into it. I got an extra 30,000 by putting extra 100K in for 2 months. You know what? 30 extra percent for 2 months. I'm not going to complain. So made about 100K on it. And here's the sad part about that is, might be one of my most regrettable deals, is someone came in, put an extra 80 into it and sold the house for like 300. So everyone was making money on that deal. It was great. But that was probably my favorite deal. Made about 100K. It was perfect. So it was a great one. I don't do $100,000 deals all the time, maybe 1 or 2 of those a year. But when I have that, it's truly special.
Yeah. So what do you want Mighty Nation, my Mighty Nation of investors, to learn from your story? Because what I'm taking is that you got to find the right deal.
Yeah, it's all about the right deal. And if everyone in your tribe, whatever, people following you, if they need to learn something from me today, it's the greatest tool in wholesaling real estate, the greatest tool in real estate in general is wholesaling, because wholesaling has no risk in the beginning and is the absolute only way in real estate, with no money at all, zero money at all. You can just make $1 million in 1 year without any experience at any age, anything. I know you could say, oh, you do a VA loan and house hack. Well, not everyone's a veteran. Shout out to all the veterans out there. I love the vets out there. Shout out to your son. But I have to tell you this right now. Not everyone has a VA loan which they can house hack. The cool part about wholesaling real estate is different than real estate. You'll talk to people, property managers, people who love rentals, people who do BRRRR. That's all great. They look at as real estate as a net worth, building the wealth type thing. And that's great. I do the same thing. But what I talk about is wholesaling real estate is, it ain't about building wealth in your net worth. That's great. I'm here to teach you guys how to just make money in a business. I'm not here to tell you what to do with the money after, put in stocks, put whatever. I'm here wholesaling real estate to actually make it a business. You can make house flipping a business. You get the hard money. That's a lot of risk. I'm telling you, as a 17-year-old high schooler, teenager, the best way to make $100K to $1 million is wholesaling real estate. Do it with no money at all. And I share how to do it.
Yeah, so the thing that I love, like what you're doing, is you're taking action. And that's the one thing, like, no matter who I have on the show, no matter what their tactics are, it's putting it into action that actually brings you these results. And you have definitely done that. We'll dive into some of this other stuff, but what are you working on right now that has you most fired up? What project are you working on?
Um, Here's the problem. Projects, I'm not big into that. I run a business. So I can do a bunch of $100,000 flips. They're cool. They're sexy. They're great. But my time is best spent doing a bunch of $30,000 to $40,000. I'd rather do 3 $40,000 deals than $100,000 deal. Just more money at the end of the day. And wholesaling's a month in, month out. That's it. Very simple for most people. I love fix and flipping. There's a lot of cool projects out there. My biggest project I've ever underdone was just doing multiple wholesaling, creative financing, subject to deals. Um, I got a couple deals right now we're doing subject to, which we should be putting about 5,000 into it, and we should be netting around 10K a year in profits for the rest of my life through a subject to. So a lot of the creative financing stuff is probably the most exciting for me right now. I do a lot of stuff helping people in wholesaling real estate. That's really exciting because I'm helping so many teenagers out there start changing their lives, and I do it for free and really shaking up the way real estate wholesaling is being done. That's most exciting outside of my businesses, but that's just a hobby of mine. But right now, it's probably some creative financing stuff I'm doing right now, which some pretty big stuff. We're doing some commercial, but I like to stick it to wholesaling for now. So I would say just scaling up the wholesaling business more, JVing with my audience, and hopefully making everyone a bunch of money.
I love it. So one of the things you said is you teach people. You have a course, right?
Yeah, I have the largest wholesaling course in the country in the history of wholesaling real estate. It's freewholesaling.com. That's it. There's nothing really to say about it. Like, it's a free wholesaling course. Most wholesaling guys, they sell a course for 5 to 10K. My students show me what those courses look like. Guess what I do? Copy it in and out. I'm not a fancy person. I'm like, hey, my name's Zach. Here's a $50,000 deal I just did. This is how I found the deal. This is how you do the same thing and go do it. And then everyone's like, well, you got to charge $5,000 to do one-on-ones. I'm like, all right, on Thursday, here's a link in my Facebook group, also the largest wholesaling mastermind in the country. I'll talk to you one-on-one for free on my YouTube channel, and I'll coach everyone for free. So there's no excuse, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I love that. Taking all the excuses away from people, especially like, like you said, I got a son in the army. I have another son who works for Arby's, right? He reached out to me and he's like, "What can I do?" I said, "Well, start meeting with me and we'll start cold calling." I said, "That is the quickest way for you to be able to make contact, make an impression on somebody and potentially help them." Doesn't really matter what you're selling. In this case, you're selling the idea of saving someone who's maybe in a distressed situation, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to all be in distress. I've done a lot of deals last year, especially this year, especially in Florida, virtually in other places like Fresno, California, Macon, Georgia, where they have a rental property and they just can't get their tenant out and they're not doing any evictions. There's a moratorium. We, in a lot of situations, buy the property and then we'll do cash for keys and then we make a big profit. Seller's happy, we're happy. We do a lot of stuff like that. It doesn't have to be distressed. It's just when someone just wants the ease of a cash sale, kind of like a used car dealership. Hey, I'll give you some equity, just easy cash. But yeah, I'm telling you, cold calling, hands down, the fastest, cheapest way to get a wholesaling deal, and it eliminates all excuses. I talk to people like, Zach, I'm not getting any deals cold calling. This cold calling doesn't work. I'm like, all right, you know what? Cold calling probably doesn't work. But let me just make sure. How many hours have you cold called every single week? Well, I do 3 hours a week. I'm like, bro, when I was 18 years old, I was on a triple line Mojo dialer cold calling 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year straight, and I made 100 to 200K per year doing that. That is the blueprint. Go do that. If you're not doing that, then get back to me when you're doing it. Oh, I don't know the list. Well, pull your government list. Pull the water shutoff list. Pull the code violation list. Pull the probates. Are you doing any of that? No. Are you driving for dollars? No. Go do it and get back to me. There's no excuse.
Zach, are you ready for some mighty flexing?
Bro, I'm ready. I was born ready, man.
You're a straight shooter here. Zach, what is your favorite tactic for finding deals? We talked about wholesaling, but let's get into the nitty gritty.
Cold calling. I mean, personally, for most people starting out cold calling, direct mail is my favorite, hands down. But most people don't have 10, 20, 30K a month in ad spend. So I would have to say cold calling. But for my business, it's definitely direct mail.
Yeah. So just to dive into that, you said cold calling, and then you spat off a couple of things there. So like probate, water shut off list, code violations. What else? What is your favorite?
They're basically called government lists. I don't know if I've termed it, but if it's a list from the government, I want it. These are free lists. So code violation, properties with tall grass, disgusting. They're against code. Those are one of my favorites. Probates, when someone passes away, let's say I'm in Florida, that's God's waiting room. Hate to say it, but that's the truth. There's a lot of older people in Florida, and there's a lot of people out of state. So maybe, grandma moved south to Florida and all the kids are in New York, and unfortunately she passes away and she couldn't take care of the property for 5 years, and they're like, just I want to get rid of the property. We talk to them, help them out. Next here is water shutoffs is a good one. Again, if the water if you stop paying the water bill, no one really wants to live in a house without water. The property ain't going to do too well. No AC going. The electric tax lien lists, debt lien lists, credit card list, IRS debt list. This is all stuff you can pull. The divorce list. All things you can pull absolutely for free today online on your public records or on the clerk of the court.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So now, a lot of people are going to beat me up if I don't ask you this. So, software, like, you said all this is free so far. It's sounding really good. You have this theme of like removing excuses, right? People are like, well, I
Yep.
don't have any money. But do you use a software? If so, what are you using?
Okay, so for free, every Tuesday I cold call for 2 hours straight, and I've done deals on YouTube before, 8, 7. They're not too crazy because they're still a for sale by owners, but I eliminate all excuses when I do it. So I literally do all free software on Tuesdays, which is today. So software, if you're doing free wholesaling, will be the government list. You pull that for free. Skip tracing is truepeoplesearch.com. Truepeoplesearch.com. Let me excuses. Hey, I didn't hear the right way. It's truepeoplesearch.com. It's very scary. You could find most people's phone numbers on there. And then you call with a Google Voice on any area code in the whole country you want to do. Hey, I live in India. I can't do it. Well, use a VPN. You can get a free one like Windscribe or something. So that's it. And then you ask these people 2 questions. If they're the owner and are they interested in selling the property? That's it. Have a regular conversation from there.
Okay, and how about the other days that aren't Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll talk about everything else. I love drawing for dollars. You cold call every day of the week. It's perfect for me. Drawing for dollars, you drive around your local county and you're looking for deals that are just looking distressed. They might not be on a list yet, or the code violation is not on there yet. And I'm in a market where I have to compete with 7 to 8 other wholesalers every single deal. And we get the deal because we do marketing tactics that no one else does. When we go meet with someone, the thing's game over. We always get them closed. We have all the closing tactics. So that's the benefit of just having so much experience in this business, is you learn actually how to talk to sellers really well. But I would say cold calling is probably the best one, and there's no excuse. The software, I use Podio. That is a free CRM, customer relationship manager. I have a whole tutorial how to set up for free. And that's basically it. And I mean, I have paid softwares. I mean, when you run a 7-figure wholesaling operation with team members, of course, you're going to need that. But when you're starting out, if you want to make $100K to $250,000 a year, you can do it all for free.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. And then how about funding? Because I know you got things really rolling right now, but that's one of the things I always hear is like, cool, but I really don't know anybody with money. What's your favorite way to fund a deal?
Bro, I started out with $300 in my bank account at 17. So the funding was not an option for me. So that's the benefit of wholesaling real estate. We're not buying properties. We're not selling properties. Wholesaling is not a real estate business. It is a marketing and contract selling business. As a wholesaler, I sell contracts. I don't even do anything with the real estate. I literally sell paper. That's what I do for a living usually. So I don't need any money. I don't need funding. Now we get a double closings. Yes, I'll need funding for that, but I don't really do money. I have a double closing next week, but that's because I'm making $60,000 on a wholesaling deal, and I don't want my seller or my buyer, to know, to disclose my wholesale fee. So, so my favorite funding way is just self-funded. We humbly say we make enough money, which we can basically buy all of our wholesaling deals if we want to, but we don't. I have enough cash flow coming in from all of my rental properties that I really won't have an issue with that. But really, when you're starting out with funding, you don't need it. So you're finding someone who wants to sell the property, let's say for $100,000. You write a contract. I agree to buy your house for $100,000. I find this guy who wants to buy more rental properties, and then he agrees to buy for $120K. What I do is do an assignment for $20,000 at the closing and make $20,000. There's no funding at all involved there. So now if I'm funding it myself, it's all self-funded. We can get private money if we wanted to. That'd be the best way to get funding if you had to. Hard money sucks. Private money is the best.
Yeah. So this kind of takes me to this thought, okay? Because I've done a lot of, either wholesale or, as a real estate investor, and I'm just like soaking it up and learning, and you obviously are just like have mastered this wholesaling thing. And so I'm proud of you, man. Like my son is, in his 20s, and he's just, I want to see him do what you're doing, and taking that. So I have a lot of other questions about that. But one of the things when it comes to wholesaling, and I've heard a few people say this, is like they struggle with this idea that, like, well, if somebody's property is worth, let's say on the open market, 150,000, just to keep it simple, and they're willing to sell it to me for 80 because they don't know what their home is worth. At some point, you're seeing you're making 50, 80 grand. Is there anything in there where you're like, like he just doesn't know? Maybe I should tell him how much it's worth, or is that just the game of wholesaling? Is you gotta that's where you're looking for the equity that they don't want. I mean, what do you think about that? Have you came across that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been told by every single person I steal equity from sellers. I'm a terrible person. I'm really the worst person ever. And here's the truth: the average wholesale in my market, Port St. Lucie, Treasure Coast here in Florida, I do wholesaling Palm Beach, Broward counties too, is their average fee is about $10,000. They try to make $10,000 in between the deals, and that's what they do, and that's great. My average is 50 to 60. Why is that? Two reasons. First of all, I'm very good at building rapport with sellers and getting deals done pretty quickly. We have great marketing. Second is, my secret is I have buyers that overpay for things. So these are the same, most people, if they got my deal, they'd make 10K. I'll make 50. Why? Because I'm selling to people who literally are like, they're doctors and heart surgeons. Like, they just want to make their 8%, and that's it. And they will overpay because they don't have to deal with an on-market property. They will overpay like crazy, and they're going to burn it out, and they'll do all this stuff. So they will overpay on all of my properties, which gives me an extra 20, 30,000 on each deal. I have to find these people. It's very difficult, but I do find them, and they overpay on the properties. Mike, if I sold a deal to you, you're smart. You know that's not a good deal for me. You're not a good buyer. I'd make 20K off of you, not 40, 50, because you're smart on your stuff. Most people working a 9-to-5 job, they watch, no knock to bigger pockets, but they go to bigger pockets to like 8%. Whew, that's amazing. So they'll overpay. They go to a seminar to learn how to do rentals, and that's fine. It's better. It's more money than if they had a bond or if they don't like the stock market or anything like that. So that's number one. Where I get that, extra $30,000. Now you're still making 10, 20,000. So here's my issue. So when I deal with a property, there's two things I can do. There's two wholesalers, an unethical and ethical. I'm like to say I try to be as ethical as I can. I have my acquisitions managers. I force them to say this, even though you probably make less money. I do it because guilty conscious maybe, but I tell every seller, hey, you will make way more money if you list this property with a realtor. You should list it with a realtor. Guess what they say? Okay, I want to list with a realtor. Perfect. Here's a realtor. I know them. They're great. I'll make $4,000 from a marketing fee from a realtor. Rick owns a real estate brokerage, so it's fine. I don't really care. If they say no, they don't want to deal with commissions. They don't want to deal with the hassle of going to the market. Well, okay, this is my cash price. I probably need to make money on this. You can accept this or not, or you can put it on the market. Do what you want to do. I give every seller a choice. They know they'll make more money listing it on the MLS. I also say, hey, you can go with any other person you want. Go do it with them. The issue with that is most people don't understand. When you're older, or if you just want to sell a property, most people don't want to get top dollar on my certain thing. So let's say real estate, there's 100 transactions, for a year in real estate in a city, okay? Which it's not, but it's more. I'm only going after one of those. 1% of all real estate transactions are even in my vicinity of a deal. These are people that have a lot of distress on the property, and they would rather give up equity in exchange for speed and convenience of a cash sale. That's it. That's how pawn shops make money. That's how used car dealerships make money. You can go and sell your car. You can take a picture of the VIN. You can have someone go in and inspect it, have the whole parade, go meet someone behind an alley at a Starbucks and try to sell the property, have them go in your car, test drive it. They just don't want to deal with all the hoopla of that, And I tell them, hey, you'll make more money with a realtor. No, you know what? I know I'm not getting the most of this, but, I got to get rid of this property. I don't want to deal with it. Another big benefit of me, which other people don't, is I love realtors. They're great, but sometimes they're not the best, and they're not in the best interest of their sellers. One example is another deal I did with a hoarder's house. This person had property stacked from the bottom to the top of properties. The realtor's not going to go out there and dump all the stuff out there for them, right? They're not. They're too good. They got the Mercedes Benz and their nice shoes, and they might have a Louis Vuitton purse. They don't get that dirty. No, they're too good for that. If that property went on the MLS today with just the junk in it, the rats everywhere, probably sell it for $100,000. I buy the property myself. I pay my workers to go out there and actually dump the stuff out, clean up, fix it up, put it on the market. I literally spend $1,000 doing that. I could probably sell it for $130 because people don't have vision on the MLS. So I created $30,000 in equity just by putting $1,000 in. Most people can't do that. You already know there's a huge labor shortage. I have people working for me because I have enough properties where they will work. I don't have to deal with the labor. I get everything cheaper. If that person wanted to do it, they'd have to probably spend $4,000 or $5,000 because they don't know what they're doing and they don't have the labor connections that I do. Not a lot of people know other people that are willing to spend a whole week just putting a rat-infested hoarder's house out, and they're happy doing it for $20 an hour. I have those people because they like the convenience of having work. So that's another benefit I do, and that's how I really do these deals. If people want to know how I do it, that's it. Most people aren't willing to do that.
No, I love that you broke it down like that because I mean, what I'm hearing you say is you're taking the equity, you're not taking 50 grand from every seller. You're taking and creating equity, and by finding a property that can be valued by somebody else at a much higher rate.
And also
So
to add, Mike, sorry, another deal we did is with a code violation. Realtors don't know how to do this either. I had a deal with that hoarder's house also. They had a $10,000 code violation, which you put on the MLS, they're going to have to pay it, I know John at the code for. I've been pulling the code violation list for 5 years straight. I negotiated that deal from 10,000 code violation to 2,000 because I have a relationship with the code enforcement department. No realtor is going to do that. I've been going physically to the code enforcement since I was 17 years old in my county. I know everyone there. I buy them lunch. They get a nice bouquet every year for Christmas. I literally cut $8,000 extra, and I didn't even get money from that. I just helped the seller out. That's how I beat my competition there. So this is stuff that realtors don't understand, they don't do, and they don't know how to do it. So sorry, that's how I add equity. Sorry.
no, I mean, that's a perfect example of adding equity, being creative. Like creative financing was creative out of minds like yours that are like, hey, we could actually try this other way, understanding financing and how to actually structure a deal so that you can actually make it happen without coming up with the money. So that's a perfect example. Thanks for answering that. I know a lot of people would be like, well, you're asking a wholesaler, is he ethical? It's not. It's just a lot of people are asking that question, especially mostly realtors, because they're like, you're basically doing the job of a realtor, the basics of a realtor anyway. They take a home, they turn around and flip it to a new seller, but you're actually solving problems for people that realtors can't solve as well. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, I agree. Good realtors also, the ones that are good, I'm talking top 1%, they have buyers that create equity on their listings. That's how they're really good also. Like you see $1 million flips. Why are they so good? Because they got, someone from France who's going to buy this $10 million mansion in Los Angeles. That's the value. That's why that realtor is so good. I go list a $10 million house. I'm probably not that good because I don't have the buyers, from Paris. But that's why they're so good. And that's why I'm good at wholesaling. Now, I would say I'm probably top 1% of 1% in wholesaling, but that's why I'm so, because I have the buyers also. Same thing with real estate agents. That's why you have to study the greats in real estate. How do these people do so well in luxury realtors? I copy what they do and I put it in my business and it works really well.
Yeah. So I have to ask this question. I think I already know the answer, but do you have a mentor?
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. You and your dad seem like you got a pretty special relationship, man.
Oh yeah, it's great, man. I mean, he's kind of not in the business anymore. He taught me everything, and the cool part about that is he had to pay a bunch of money to learn wholesaling. That's kind of how the game is. You got to learn tens of thousands of dollars. He taught for me for free. I have an unfair advantage over everyone else because I started with $300. Guess what I do? I just shared it all for free, and now everyone has the unfair advantage I got. And that's the thing I'm changing in real estate wholesaling and the way this whole industry is being done. And it's really disrupting a lot of people. I'm cutting a lot of these gurus. I'll say it right here. Wholesaling like coaches, They're making between, like, the top ones are making between $2 to $6 million per year selling coaching. Their revenues are being cut by half because of me, and they do not like. I'm shadow banned from every podcast for people selling coaching, and it's shocking you'd let me on here. But like, you don't sell a bunch of, like, you don't do $10,000 coaching programs, but I'm not allowed to go on many podcasts because I'll go say the exact same thing, and they're like, don't say that, you know. That's the truth.
Yeah. Well, the difference is, I think between me and some of these others is that I enjoy helping people. And if you can take someone, it's a bridge. They call it the epiphany bridge, right? If you can take somebody from where they are and you teach them how to do something that's going to benefit their life, you are blessing their life. And so,
Yeah.
like when I saw your course, I clicked on it, when I was looking to have you on the show, and I was like, here we go. Like, this is where I'm going to get hit with it, $9.97 a month or something, and then your dad came in and was like, but it was like a fun thing. You
Yeah.
guys got to go check it out. It's definitely cool. It's cool that you guys did that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I'm just trying to help the people out. So,
Yeah, good stuff. So now I didn't catch it. Are you guys holding properties right now? Do you own any properties?
oh yeah, so there's probably 5 right now on the MLS being sold, and I'll buy a property, kind of do that like hoarder's house situation where I'd make 5,000 on a wholesale, but I'm going to make 30, 40, 50 on it because I can bring the people out, clean it up, fix it up. And I only put $2,000-$3,000 into it, like at most on the budget. So I got like 5 of those right now. We're probably going to buy 2 or 3 more just because there's situations where they're not good for wholesaling. And sometimes it's best to put an end buyer in there, not an actual, rental person, because I'll actually make more on that. So that's some of the benefit I do have is my buyers. Sometimes there'll be end buyers and they're great. So that's probably that. And then obviously the rental properties we have, a lot of lease options, a lot of subject twos, but quick secret, it'll probably quadruple the amount I have once the market goes down. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's the cool part about wholesaling. What I teach is like, you make money in wholesaling when markets like move. If a market stays flat, it's hard to make money. But when a market goes up, you make money. Market goes down. At least if it's moving, you can make arbitrage with wholesaling. That's always my benefit. So that's the cool part about wholesaling too. You do burrs, all this stuff when the market's going down, you can't make money, but you can definitely wholesale during that. So that's some of the benefit I love about wholesaling.
I love that. And so holding the properties, do you have property managers on the ones you're holding?
Oh yeah, we have people managing it. Some of them I'll manage because they're right by my house, but overall I'll have people managing them.
Okay. All right. So we're kind of wrapping it up here. What book would you recommend?
I think YouTube's destroying books right now, especially for like real estate knowledge. I'm sorry. I love books. Rich Dad Poor Dad's great. I have them all here. But his stuff's from 2005. I ain't going to buy any silver from him. So that's the issue. It's because real estate, especially investing in wholesaling, changes so much. A book that comes out, would you read a wholesaling book 3 years ago? It's a completely different game, especially with the way this market is. It's a completely different game. So books are great. There's some classic ones. I'll put a couple out right now. This is a mindset. Mindset doesn't change. Awaken the Giant Within with Tony Robbins is great. Scaling up a business is Traction. That's a great one. Those are books I would recommend just because they're timeless and it doesn't change with the times. Learning how to do something, a lot of it's going to change, but mindset and like running businesses, that stuff you can still get from the 80s, from the 90s, books like that. But that's probably what I'd recommend.
That's good, man. Those are amazing recommendations. What is the greatest advice you've ever received?
Give more than you ever receive. That's it. Pretty simple. Give more value to people's lives. I'm not even talking about real estate in general. You see someone on the street, they need help. They're struggling to pick something up. They hurt their back. Old lady trying to cross the street. Just do those things. I'm telling you, don't expect anything in return. It will come back to you tenfold, but don't expect it. I swear to you, the more you give in life, the more you'll receive. That's great advice. You never know how much time you have on earth. So enjoy every single moment you have. Call your mom, call your grandma. You never know. But best advice I've ever received was give more than you receive.
I love that. I love that. And you kind of already answered this question, but this is the one that's usually a doozy for people. I mean, even guys that are, these guys we're talking about, these big gurus, right? Um, and so, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and I want to hear what you're going to say. So, what would you do if you had to start all over again with just $100, a smartphone, no contacts, no credit history, no assets? What would you do day one to start all over?
Yeah, I mean, I did $300, so I was rich compared to that. So basically, what I would do is I would literally just go around and start knocking on doors or cold calling Zillow for sale by owners, make $8,000, scale that up for some more, and go from there. I'll start cold calling for free. Zillow for sale by owners. That's it. Literally, all you do on Zillow for sale by owner, you have someone put in for sale for 100. You explain to your cash sale, this thing's been in for sale by owner for 4 months. Something probably changed. You're not making a ton of money, but maybe you get under contract for 85, you sell it for 90, you make 5,000. The property's worth 100. Find a really good cash buyer on Facebook. I teach it all for free. Go to freewholesaling.com, and that's what I do. Make 5, 10K, scale it up from there.
Dude, that's great, man. You put that together, you handle that like a beast.
I make wholesaling simple. It has to be simple. People make it really complicated. It's simple, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I appreciate it. Yeah. So what is your parting piece of advice to Mighty Nation or anybody that wants to get started here today?
Yeah, it's one simple thing. Action's the most important one, and that's a lot of thing that's mostly the thing people struggle with starting out is just taking action. And my comment for you here is like, just you have one life. Like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, are you gonna sit around all day working your job, just expecting something to come to you? Or are you gonna go make it happen? Like, you literally only have a certain amount of time on Earth right now. And what do you like? Are you gonna do it working a job you hate? Or are you gonna go out there and actually change your life and do something about it? There's a reason you woke up this morning, and it wasn't just to do nothing. You have the greatest opportunity ever to be alive today. And if you are blessed enough to live in the United States of America, not even born, just living in it right now, you have the opportunity right now to wholesale real estate. Just learn you can do anything, be a singer, whatever. You are in the greatest country ever, and you have the access to change your life today. And it is your duty to go out there and change your life, change your financial freedom. I'm telling you, 1 year is all it takes. I promise you, you spend 1 year doing this, wholesaling real estate, do everything you possibly can, eliminate all excuses. You will make $100,000 to $1,000,000 per year this year. Never be the same. I promise you. My life was never the same ever since I got my first wholesaling deal. And from there, I'm living a life right now that I could have only dreamed of 4 years ago. So my one thing to you is you have one life. What are you going to do with it? And got to get up and start changing it.
I love it, man. I love it. How can we what's the best way to connect with you? And then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, just go to Flip with Rick on YouTube. I have another channel, Zackin. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm just here to help your audience out. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to just want to help.
I appreciate it, Zach. I want to personally thank you for coming on the show. I'm impressed with everything you got going on. I mean, you are definitely an example to anybody that's out there. I mean, if I was a high schooler, like a senior or even just a junior, whatever, and I saw this, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, so one of the questions they might ask right away is like, did you buy your Lambo yet?
Bro, I live not a minimalist life, but like you see no watch on me. My biggest flex to everyone is the properties that I own and my net worth, which I don't share with anyone because it's none of your business. I'm here to literally live the life of my dreams. I don't do this for money. I do it for the life-changing thing. It is the greatest thought in my mind. I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life. I'm already set if I wanted to. I can help provide for my family. If I ever decide to have kids one day, I'll provide for them. My mom's taking care of the rest of her life. I'm happy. I do it not because of myself or for the materialistic things. You can buy all the cool whip. That's always sexy and cool, but the true reason for it is I don't do it for clout. I don't do it for everyone to think I'm cool. I do it to change my life and my financial future because honestly, it all comes down to buying time, and that's what this business has done for me. If you do it for the Lamborghini, go be an executive at a company. You will make hopefully $5-10 million a year, but you'll be working 80-90 hours a week. As a father, you know this. Time is the most important part with your kids. And if you're making $5-10 million, you got the Lamborghini, but You're going to drive that Lamborghini home at 9 o'clock at night, and you're not going to be able to see your kids, and they're going to live a life without you there, really. So what's the cool part? Having the money you want and driving the Lamborghini with your kids and doing what you want or not, you know? So that's the biggest misconception in life I think a lot of people have is it's about time, not the money. But if you can have time and money, I'm living the dream.
Dude, they say by your fruits you shall know them, man. I haven't even talked to your dad, and I know he's a good guy, man. He did a good job with you.
Oh yeah, he's got the boat though. He's got a nice boat, but we won't get into that. That's it's something he loves. I love fishing too, so I'm not going to complain about that. But
Hey, he deserves something. He's retired, right?
he's not retired. He's still in the business. But like what is he? 5 hours a week of work. So
Yeah, that's a 4-hour work week, right?
yeah,
Okay. Well, again, thanks for coming on the show. I'm excited to share it with the world.
love it, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Until next time, Mighty Nation, go check out flipping. No, it's
Flip with
free.
Rick.
Flip with Rick. Yes. Go check out Flip with Rick, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And Mighty Mike. So go out there and take some mighty action and build a strong network so you can grow your net worth and pick up the phone and start dialing.
Oh yeah, smile and dial.
Smile and dial. All right, guys, take care.